Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear. We're going to look at an Apex 2 tip today. Some people might already have an Apex ready barrel, but they just don't have the Apex tip section. So this video is to show you the Apex 2 tip, how to install it onto your Apex ready barrel, and just some general information about the parts themselves. So if you have an Apex ready barrel, typically most of them are Apex 1 and 2 ready. This is a Lapco Big Shot. Says on there Apex ready. It fits both the Apex 1 and the Apex 2. So we've got an Apex 2 here. If you order it from A&S Gear, you're going to get it in pieces. It will not come assembled because in order to put it on the barrel, you need to disassemble it anyway. So you're going to get it in pieces. You're going to get I call it the tongue stabilizer. This is your tongue flap or your ramp or whatever they're going to call it. These two pieces go together to keep them in line and keep them rigid. You've got your adjustment slider. You get 4 O-rings that are going to go around this housing right here, which holds all the parts together. And then you're going to get your outer sheath or cylinder, basically just the outside of the barrel assembly. So we're going to put it together. A couple things that you want to know beforehand. You can do some pre-assembly. We're going to assemble this together. When it comes to getting this together, all the parts into the housing, it sometimes helps to put a little bit of grease or a little bit of oil on the O-rings, just a tiny bit, in order to help it slide through, because it literally can be very, very difficult to get this part into this part sometimes and make sure that everything lines up properly. When I do them, I typically have to bang it on a table or whatever to get it to go in properly. So we'll see how it works out in this video. It's always an adventure. First thing we're going to do is take our stabilizer and slide it into our tongue. So on the back side here, this is the side where the paintballs are going to roll against. On the back side, that's where this little tuning fork thing goes in. There's 2 holes at the front right here. There's grooves cut along the side where the rods are going to lay in place, and a little groove on the back where it will lay. It only will fit properly in one direction. So if you put it in like this, and you can see that it's standing up like that, that's not right. It needs to lay flat and it needs to lay in its little groove. So we'll turn it around and we'll put it in. Just like that. So now you can see that it's laying inside there. We're laying on top of it. Perfect, it's sticking up. It's not out of position or cattywampus or whatever. Now, we're gonna take, this is actually our top section right here. This is where the slider is going to go. I'm going to hold it so we're looking down on top of it. Our slider is going to go in, and the U section, or the cutout like this, is going to face the end or face the front of the barrel. So we're going to put it in like that. It does not go like this, where the U is facing towards the back. Always make sure that that is facing forward, like so. All right, with that laid in there, we can take our completed assembly and drop it in. You can see that there is a little notch cut right here on the top. Right there. There's a notch cut on that piece right there. So you're just going to lay them together. Like so. Kind of push it down, push it into place, and it should sit easily in there. And you should see the tab of your slider sticking up through the top right here. Once that's in place and kind of just held in there, we're going to take our barrel. Now, let me pull this out again. On our tongue right here, there's a groove right there, and there's a groove right there. Those are going to fit just like that. And you've got 1, 2 grooves right there. They're going to drop into those 2 grooves. So it does line up perfectly. There's no I guess ambiguity as to where it fits inside there. So if you've got everything mounted in, the tuning fork stabilizer mounted properly, the barrel should just drop right inside there, just like that. Now, if you were to just take the barrel and put it into this housing without the tongue, without the rubber ramp, it's going to be nice and sloppy inside there. So you definitely want to assemble it properly, otherwise it's just not going to work right. I'll take the other section right here. You can see that one section from here to here is longer than from here to here. So the short section is the back and the long section is the front. You've got the same grooves that you have for this, so we'll line our grooves up and put it together. And it should kind of snap together. It's just the indexing on the two pieces marking and locking together. Then you've got 4 slots, 1, 2, 3, 4 O-rings. Those are the 4 O-rings that came with it. We're going to put those on. Now, when we get to the point where this is all together, we have to slide this outside housing onto it. First thing you'll want to do is you'll want to put the slider in its lowest position, which is actually the furthest forward position, like that. Now it needs to be up front here in order for this raised section, you can see it right here, to be able to slide in and fit into this groove right here. If we had it at the back like this, it sits up too high and you can't push this down out of the way in order to get it in. So all the way forward, you can see that I can push this piece down now, and that'll give me the room to slide it in there where it needs to go. And again, we talked about it being really, really tight sometimes to get these to go through. So you can take a little bit of grease or oil and put it on there, and you should be good. So we want to line up this oval slot with this piece. We want this piece to end up sticking right through here. So I'm going to put this in kind of just like that, and I'm going to eyeball it from here and keep this part lined up with the front, and then I'm going to slide it in and hope for the best. If you get it right, it'll actually pop up into place and you're done. This is what holds the outside housing from rotating around the inside actual unit of the apex. Now I can slide this back and I'm all set. Slide it forward, and I've created, by pushing it forward, now I've created the most spin. By having it back, the least amount of spin or no spin at all. Now if I want to disassemble this, what I have to do is slide this all the way forward, then I have to push this piece down and out of the way, and then I can slide this thing back off. Once you've got it on there though, unless you just don't want to have an apex on there, just leave it on. You won't have to fight it. But this is your Apex 2 on a Apex ready barrel that you might already have. So if you've got that and you don't want to have to worry about buying a whole nother barrel system, you can pick up the Apex 1 or the Apex 2, which we have here, and give your barrel a whole nother dynamic of play out there on the field. So check it out. Apex 2 tips available through the website. Order yours now through ansgear.com.